All right, what is going on, guys? We are back in the lab. As you saw in my last video, we finished off by giving you a little sneak peek of the little bit of the tub template that I've been making. So that's just a little piece of cardboard that we have from, I think, the package of yogurt that I used. And then in the front over here, that's part of a pizza box. And this is kind of like the idea what we're going for. This is kind of be like my rough cuts or rough measurements with the cardboard. I'm gonna get some more cardboard, but like plain cardboard where I can make the whole one piece. But now I'm gonna utilize the Modelo cardboard to finish up this last section that's gonna go all the way and tie both of them together. Should be enough. This one shouldn't be too hard. Famous last words, but we'll see. We'll see if we can get it to fit. Just finishing up this side. Really nothing too interesting. It's just a lot of cutting, measuring, and just taking the time to make each side its template. So I'm gonna work on the driver's side right now. Get this finished up, making the top section. Pull all of it out, tape it all together, and then this template will be ready to transfer on to a single piece. And then once we fit that in and we can verify that it fits really nice, then that will be the piece that we'll use to transfer over to the actual piece of metal. So it's going to end up slipping behind this. I'm going to have to weld it on with the fender off of the truck so I can get it back in here, because the cardboard I had to fold in order to slip in behind that little lip right here, the little pinch weld. But as I'm thinking about it right now, the way I'm doing this, since I'm tucking it behind the bumper, I mean, it's not going to be too big of a deal because it's not often that you're going to take the bumper off. But when you do, because of this lip, the bumper's not going to slide off, now that I think of it. So I might have to do just some trimming right along the edge, just enough to where the bumper can slide straight out, but we get enough coverage in here so you don't get a lot of the water that comes out and splashes in through here. So we'll figure that out on the end, but for now, I'm gonna work on just working that centerpiece. I'm gonna have to put on my tunes because I work better with music, so I'm gonna go get my music device and we'll get to making that little template. So we'll pick this back up whenever we get all three pieces taped up and all finished together. So see you then. All right, but before we get onto that, let's address the first few comments that we've had on my recent video, which has only been up for 5.5 hours. So starting with the first guy that commented, Mario Gutierrez, dope videos, bro, keep it up. Thank you very much. Rodrigo de Leon, sheesh, can't wait to see the end result. Quality work, file videos, but I think he meant fire videos. But appreciate that a lot, bro. I don't know how you would pronounce that guy's name, but what's your full-time profession? Auto body tech? Yes, full-time profession right now. I'm a auto body tech. I don't want to say where because I can't remember. They said something about not like putting their company name out there on my social media, so I think I'm not allowed to say. So, but yes, I've been working for the collision repair for now 10, 11 years. So 10, 11 years in the collision repair industry. That's pretty much all I've been doing. Little side jobs here and there, but before I even did collision repair, regular dishwashing, waiting, and I think I was in housekeeping with my mom in the beginning for a while. So yeah, but main profession, auto body tech, and then I've been doing this on the side now since I don't have my own personal build, but hopefully this will become my full-time profession. So we're working our way towards up that. Librado Diaz, fire videos, keep up the awesome content. Appreciate it, bro. We will try our best to keep uploading and making those fire contents. Manuel Cortes Luna, using actual seam sealer, no freaking caulking glue like the shop that I took my truck did. Yeah, some of the shops that I've seen use like regular house caulking glue that doesn't stretch or will over time dry and start cracking. So we are going to be using legitimate seam sealer, if I remember where I put it. But you guys saw it. It's that 3M seam sealer. So Thank you all the guys for leaving the first few comments in the first 5 hours. And whenever we upload this next video, whoever leaves the next few comments when I record again, I will make sure to read your comment and shout you out. So appreciate it a lot, guys. All right, well, I got that one piece pretty much rough cut, and it did come out a little bit short, but I can make up with that once we transfer it over to the second template. But I just needed to get them a rough cut of the curve that goes on the fender, the outside of the fender, and then the straight curve that's going to be the straight line that's going to be on the other piece of the tub. So that ties in together good right there with the second piece that I did. Second piece down here is gonna end up nice and curved down here. Like I said, I wanted to get that bead roller so I can do some sort of design on this, but we'll just roll with it for now and see how this turns out. Now all I gotta do is tape them together right there and right here, and I'll be able to take it off, and then I'll lay it out on the ground so y'all can see it, and then you'll be able to see what I got to transfer over to the piece of sheet metal. So let me do that now real quick, and I'll pick it back up in a second. All right, so here's our template pretty much laid out and all taped together. This is where each piece was taped together. So as you can see, pretty much this is what we got to transfer onto another piece of cardboard and try to make it one piece. But the other dilemma now I have is the pieces of sheet metal that I can get from Home Depot. I think it's like 22 gauge. It's not long enough to make it as one whole piece. So what I'm thinking is what I might have to do is cut this template in half. Once I get the final template made, cut it in half, and each half will have to be made out of that one sheet of sheet metal, unless I go out and get one of those big, I think it's like they sell them in like 6 feet, I think, but I don't know exactly where I can get one here locally to me. I'll have to do some investigating, but what would be quickest to do is to just do it in 2 sections, a front and rear. And then that will actually kind of help also in forming it. So we're not trying to cram one big piece in there all at once. So that might be our better option. But at least now we have our outer template. So that is done. Now we can set this off to the side for now. Well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna put it on top of the truck because my kids sometimes come out here and they might mess with it. So we'll set that off to the top and keep that up there for now. And what I think I'm gonna do now is take off the fender and start working on the inside that I'm gonna put in here. So that's gonna require me to take off the fender. So that'll take me a few minutes. So I'm gonna set it over here, put you guys over here on a quick little time lapse, and I'll get the fender off real quick. right, well, that's about going to wrap it up for tonight. As you can see, this stuff is what takes time, and we're still not done. Both inside and the outer pieces are pretty much the first rough cuts that I'm making. I'm still going to transfer this to another piece that's a little bit more rigid, so it's not as floppy as this. I got to get some poster board to transfer it to. And then once that's done and I can finally get a better fitment, then it will be transferred to sheet metal. And then that sheet metal still has to be more finessed to fit better into this. I'm going to have to extend it out to here, and I don't know how I'm going to do it down here. I just might leave it like that and blend it in right there because you won't be able to see nothing back there. I'm going to have to like extend this piece, and then this edge will be welded to this flat piece of metal right here. I didn't cover this because this is where the latch is going to go. Not the latch, the spring for the hood. I don't want to sit any metal on top of this in case it has any rubbing issues. And then again, I also hope that the hinge itself is not going to hit the tub, because it does collapse right in this area. So hopefully we have enough room. If not, I got a little bitty solution that we're going to do for him and give him a little bit of an upgrade. So that's only if the stock hinge, the spring doesn't work. So that's going to be it for tonight. I already did a good progress on making the outer template and the inner. We got the other one sitting right up there. So tomorrow I'll swing by the store and get some poster board. We'll transfer this, do the second cuts, and then we'll be able to transfer that onto sheet metal. So we're going to focus on one fender at a time. So now we're going to be working on the driver's side, getting this fit and finished. And then we'll be doing the same thing all over again, but on the passenger side. But just so you have an idea of how everything's going to go, we'll do the whole complete side on the driver's side first. So we'll pick this back up tomorrow whenever I get home from work. I'm going to clean up my mess a little bit, and we'll continue on this build. All right, guys, so now it's the next day. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to run by the store and get the poster board that I wanted to get to make the template for the tubs. So what we're actually going to be working on today is taking apart the ball joints, because my ball joint separator actually came in. So we're going to bring this right over here. I'm going to open that up and let y'all see how we're going to do this. Hopefully this works. If not, we're going to have quite a bit of a problem trying to get those lower control arms coated with the ball joints in there. So I'm just trying to find some sort of razor blade. I'll just get a new one. But this tool ball joint kit was $50 on Amazon. I'll link it in the description below in case you guys are interested in getting one of these. See if I can do this with one hand. But if this works, this is going to be well worth the investment. So OMT Orion Motor Tech ball joint removal and installation tool instructions. So that's the instructions, and then the main enchilada got right here. Got it upside down. Cut your zip tie, and well, got it upside down again. There we go. I don't know how this opens. It's too much technology for me. There it is. Do not use impact wrench. So luckily we're not going to use an impact wrench. We're just trying to separate the ball joints. So with one of these is we're going to use to remove the ball joint. So the main thing that we actually needed is one of these cups to go over the control arm. So let me go ahead and set up one of the control arms over here and my camera, and we'll get to working on this thing and seeing what kind of damage we can do. So this ought to be interesting. All right, so let me set you guys up real quick on the camera stand here. All right, now hopefully you guys will be able to capture everything right there, but First thing we gotta do is look for one of those cone things that's gonna fit over the ball joint, which that one is too big and that one is too small. So, don't know. That one's too small, so we're probably gonna have to use this one. And I'm hoping this is gonna work, because if not, then we're gonna be in trouble. So, the way we're gonna do this, you set your control arm in there. I'm gonna have to raise this back up. But, let's see here. All right, so we set that there. I'm gonna set that there. The arm's gonna go right there. And then hopefully, if we can get it centered up, we try our best not to damage this ball joint. Now, it's a matter of just pressing it out. So setting it right on the center, just like that. Now, let's see if this works. It's gonna have a tendency to try to turn on me. Scared. It's going. Probably gonna pop really loud, just like that. But we did it. And there you go. Ball joint came nice and easy. See, it looks like whenever they put it in, they almost looks like they hammered it on it. But probably should be wearing safety glasses, but por menso, I'm gonna hurt myself. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but the bottle jack almost came out. That was a little bit scary, but we got it. I'm gonna do the other side, but there's one. That was the main challenge right there. I'm gonna do it again now, but this time I'm actually gonna use safety glasses and some earmuffs because that was kind of loud. So now we're gonna try this again. Safety third. Probably turn this around. Set that there. Set this cup here. Probably move it in more. Set the ball joint there. And then go for it. All right. So here we go again. And then no pasa de Dios. There it goes. And well, what the fuck? That one wasn't as scary for some reason. But we didn't need it for that one. There we go. Easy peasy. And here's our ball joint. Nothing happened. So, to be honest, I think that was well worth the investment. And now whenever we go to put it back together, this comes out with this nut off of it. And I want to say this one, that one's too small. And I want to say this is what you use to install it. I could be mistaken, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out at the end, but the main thing, we got it out. I probably could have done something a little bit better. Pretty sure there's professionals out there shaking their heads at me, calling me a dumbass for not doing something correctly, but there's only one way to learn, isn't there? So, mission accomplished. We got our ball joints out. All right, well, that was a little bit scary, but we got it done. I don't know why that other one popped so loud. It doesn't look like it was binding anywhere. Maybe there was too much coating in there, like that black paint, and it was just had more pressure on it, but oh well. Hopefully that one doesn't give us a little bit more pain when we go to put them back in. But good to go on those. So I'm gonna go throw them in the truck real quick before I forget. And then tomorrow we're gonna head out and drop them off with V&A coatings to get powder coated just like the rear links did. All right, guys, we finally got our poster board here. Not as big as I was expecting that they would sell them, so we're gonna have to make this work. I was wanting to make a single whole piece with the poster board, but it looks like we're also gonna have to tape it up and make it 2 individual pieces. But first I'm gonna work on is making this inside piece. So I'm gonna have to get 2 pieces of the poster board, tape them together, and then we'll cut out the rough cut of this inside piece. We'll measure that, and then once we get that fine-tuned, we will be ready to finally make a first initial cut with some sheet metal and start fitting that up and go ahead and working on the driver's side and getting this fitted up. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up my camera and we'll start cutting.
I can hear the silence as I'm walking by. Come and say something, I wanna hear your voice. All the eyes on me, all the eyes are right on me. All the eyes on me, all the eyes are right on me. All the eyes on me, all the eyes are right on me. All the eyes on me, all the eyes are right on me.
We got it pretty good. This took a little bit more finessing. This is why I wanted to do a second piece, do a rough cut. This one may need a little bit more trimming on this side, but as you saw, I didn't get my curve just as good because, I mean, the piece on the cardboard wasn't going to be as straight. So to fix that, I kind of lined it up with some tape. So now this piece, which is all a nice uniform piece, which fits a lot better than that cardboard. Now this one I can transfer to a piece of sheet metal, and this one will be cut. The sheet metal will be cut now. I'll leave maybe like, I would say maybe like less than 1/8, or try to leave just a little bit more than what this one is. That way I still have a little bit more just to grind down, because in some of these spots where like I have my spot welds, I'm I'm gonna have to grind those down so the panel sits nice and flush in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and start, move my fender out of the way, go ahead and start, pull my sheet metal out and start cutting this piece. And then we'll do the final fitment and see how the sheet metal fits. So let me get everything out of the way. We'll set my piece of plywood over here and transfer the second template over to the sheet metal. All right, well, I think we got it fitting pretty good. Now I set my template back on top of the piece of sheet metal and it was actually pretty close. So as you can see, my template on this corner was maybe just slightly too small, but it's pretty dang close. Now this is the reason why I started my initial cuts pretty far out and then just worked my way in and then grinded it down. This inside curve was pretty close. I think only one spot I had to grind, like up here in the front, and somewhere right here in the middle I had to grind a little bit more just because it wasn't flush with the tub. And then where I had made my spot welds, I had to grind those sections out so the panel would sit flush. But it took some time, but we got it sit pretty nice. If I set it in place, fits like a glove. Look at that. Sits nice and flush up against this. So I'm gonna weld it up against this, grind that flush. Same thing right here. I was a little bit too short, but a little bit of filler weld to get that. It's not too bad. So see right there, has a little bit of a gap, and then down there it has a bigger gap, but it doesn't matter which way I rotate it up or down. And pretty much everywhere else all around, I grounded those out, sitting nice and flat. The curve, I think the only spot that is a little open is this right here, but it's barely anything. So the tub is still pretty far back, so that is actually gonna sit nice up against the tub right here. And then this should be good right there for that bracket. But if anything, we'll just grind down the bracket a little bit. So I think next what I'll do is I'll tack this up and just in a few spots, and I kind of want to mount it back and then put the hinges back on because I want to see if we're going to have any problems with the hinge, which I don't think we should, but there's no telling. So now I need to also grind all the way around, try to get the grinder up in here, try to grind that spot, all the area out so we can weld to all around here, the backside and right there, and we'll be able to start tacking it in. But I think it looks pretty dang good, if I do say so myself. So it's gonna be a nice flush inner fender, so it doesn't have any of those ridges and bumps. Clean, simple, easy to make, just takes it a lot of time, but we got it done. Now next we'll be ready to start welding her up.